Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something a lot of people wonder about or maybe know someone grappling with it. You get a diagnosis, say low testosterone. Then what? The big question often becomes, testosterone cream or injections? Which way do you go?
It's a really common crossroads, absolutely. And, as the research shows, it's not like one is just flat out better the way it's
Ah,
delivered. Well, that makes a huge difference in how well it actually works for you.
right, that's key. So our goal today in this deep dive is to sort of lay out the landscape for these two main options. We want to break down the pros, the cons, what makes them different, give you that informed perspective.
Exactly, because there really isn't a single best answer here. Both can be super effective,
Yeah.
but it has to be tailored. It's all about the right fit for the individual.
And understanding these choices, well, it's pretty fundamental to this whole idea of personalized medicine, isn't it?
It really is. It's about empowering you, the listener, to make smarter health decisions. Whether it's directly for you or maybe helps you understand what someone else is going through, we're aiming for like precision medicine here, not just throwing hormones at the problem.
Precision, yeah, I like that. And that idea, that personalization, that's really the jumping off point, isn't it? Because before we even get into the nuts and bolts of creams versus needles, the sources we looked at really hammer home this one core message. It's not about which one's better overall, it's about what's better for you, based on your goals, your body, your needs.
Right. And that immediately shifts how you think about it. It's not a one-size-fits-all prescription. It becomes truly patient-focused.
Right.
Your lifestyle, what you prefer, how your body actually responds, all these things matter a lot.
Finding the right fit, not just any fit. Okay, so let's unpack the first method then. Testosterone cream, topical application. How does that actually work? You put it on, and then what?
Okay, so with topical testosterone, usually it's a gel or a cream. You apply it right onto the skin. Often the scrotum is recommended for best absorption, and then the hormone absorbs transdermally.
Transdermally, so through the skin.
Exactly, right through the skin and into your bloodstreams. It's a pretty straightforward process, really. Relies on your skin soaking it up.
Okay, so what are the main advantages? Why might someone lean towards the cream?
Well, the big one for a lot of people is pretty simple. No needles.
Right, that's a big barrier for some.
Huge. If you really dislike injections, cream is immediately appealing. But beyond that, there's a physiological benefit. If you apply it consistently, every day, the cream can actually lead to really stable blood levels of testosterone.
Stable levels, how so?
Well, it can sort of mimic your body's natural daily rhythm. Testosterone levels naturally fluctuate a bit through the day. A daily cream application can kind of smooth things out, keep it steadier, more physiological, we'd say.
Ah, okay. Mirroring the natural pattern, that sounds like a definite plus. What about adjusting the dose? Is it flexible?
Oh, very flexible. Dosing is quite customizable. If your doctor sees your levels aren't quite right or your symptoms aren't improving enough, they can easily tweak the amount of cream you use, just adjust the dose slightly based on your labs and how you're feeling.
So that fine-tuning is easier, perhaps.
Yeah, it allows for pretty precise adjustments without big swings. It's a nice feature for getting things dialed in just right.
Okay, those are some strong points for the cream. But what about the drawbacks, the cons?
Right, nothing's perfect. The main one is probably the daily commitment. You have to apply it every single day.
Routine is key then.
Absolutely. Miss a day, your levels could dip. Also, absorption isn't always predictable.
How do you mean?
Well, it can vary, depending on your specific skin type, maybe the time of day you apply it, even exactly where you apply it. So the same dose might absorb slightly differently from person to person, or even day to day for the same person sometimes. It adds a variable.
Okay, that makes sense. And there's another practical issue the sources mentioned. Something about transfer risk.
Yes, and this is really important to understand. There's a risk of transferring the testosterone to other people through skin contact.
Like partners or kids.
Exactly. Partners, children, even pets, theoretically. If they come into contact with the application site before it's fully absorbed or covered, they could get unintended exposure. So precautions are essential.
Like what kind of precautions?
Things like washing your hands thoroughly right after you apply it, making sure the area is covered with clothing, maybe showering before close physical contact.
Okay, so definitely something to be mindful of in daily life.
Absolutely critical.
Now, you mentioned fine-tuning. Our sources also talked about something called compounding. How does that take personalization even further with creams?
Ah, yes. Compounding is where things get really tailored. Instead of using a standard commercial cream, a compounding pharmacy can actually create a custom formula just for you.
Custom how?
They can adjust the exact dose of testosterone, Maybe combine it with other bioidentical hormones if needed, all based specifically on your symptoms and your detailed lab work. It allows for a much more complete optimization, really dialing in the formula to your precise needs.
Wow, okay. That's a whole other level of personalization.
It really is.
All right, so that gives us a good picture of the topical route. Let's switch gears now. Let's talk about testosterone injections. How does that delivery method work?
Okay, injections. So here, the testosterone is injected directly into the muscle. That's called intramuscular, or IM.
I am. Got it.
And the typical schedule we see mentioned is usually about 2, maybe 3 times per week. It really depends on the specific protocol your doctor sets up.
Okay. So for someone who isn't put off by needles, what are the pros of injections?
Well, injections tend to give very reliable absorption. Once it's in the muscle, the body takes it up quite predictably. And often, people see results relatively quickly. There can be a more noticeable effect, sometimes faster than with cream.
A faster onset.
Potentially, yeah. And because you're injecting a dose a couple of times a week, you tend to get higher peak levels of testosterone shortly after the injection. Some people like that feeling, that surge.
Interesting. And what about convenience? Is fewer times per week better for some?
For some, yes. Even though it involves a needle, doing it just 2 or 3 times a week instead of every single day. That can actually feel more convenient for certain lifestyles or preferences. Set reminders, do it, done for a few days.
Okay, reliable absorption, potentially faster results, maybe more convenient scheduling for some. But like cream, there must be downsides too. What are the main ones with injections?
The most obvious one, of course, is the needle itself, the needle factor.
Fear or just dislike?
Both. Some people have a genuine phobia, others just find self-injection unpleasant or anxiety-provoking. That's a major hurdle for some. Another potential issue, especially if the dosing isn't optimized, is the risk of peaks and crashes, hormonal fluctuations.
What does that feel like, the peaks and crashes?
You might feel great, really energetic, shortly after the injection. That's the peak. But then as the hormone level drops before your next scheduled shot, you could experience a return of symptoms, maybe fatigue or mood changes. That's the crash. It can feel like a bit of a roller coaster.
Ah, okay. That hormonal roller coaster doesn't sound ideal. Is there a way to smooth that out, especially for guys wanting that precision we talked about?
Yes, definitely. And this is where more advanced protocols come in. Our sources mention using microdosing.
Microdosing injections.
Yeah. Essentially, using smaller doses injected more frequently, still IM usually. Maybe it's still 2 or 3 times a week, or sometimes even more frequent with tiny doses. The goal is to maintain more stable blood levels throughout the week.
So smaller, more frequent shots to avoid the big peaks and valleys.
Exactly. It's aiming for that steadier state, minimizing those fluctuations. It's ideal for men who really want that precision, that consistency, rather than, the big hormonal swings, smoothing the curve.
Precision over brute force, as you said earlier.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've looked at creams, we've looked at injections, the pros and cons of each. The big question everyone probably has is, which one works better? Which one, packs the bigger punch? What do the sources ultimately say?
And the answer, again, really comes back to it depends entirely on your goals.
No single winner.
Nope. There's no universal bigger punch or more effective method overall. It's all about matching the delivery system to what you actually want to achieve and what fits your life.
Okay, so let's use that goal-based matrix idea from the sources. If your absolute top priority is, I do not want needles, then
cream is clearly the best option. The comfort, the ease of just applying a topical, it wins hands down if needle aversion is the main driver.
Makes sense. Okay, what if someone thinks, a needle is fine, but I'd rather not have to do something every single day? Fewer applications needed.
Right. In that scenario, injections often look more appealing. You deal with the needle maybe 2, 3 times a week, and that's it. For some, that trade-off for less frequent dosing is worth it.
Fewer touch points during the week.
Exactly.
And lastly, what if the main goal is getting that really steady daily testosterone level, mimicking the body's natural rhythm as closely as possible?
Then, assuming you're consistent with it, cream usually fits that bill best. That continuous absorption through the skin tends to support a more stable physiological level day in, day out. Avoids those sharper peaks you might get with injections.
So it really underscores that point. It's not about one being better in general, but which one aligns best with your life, your priorities, your biology.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's all about that alignment.
So pulling this all together, what does this mean for someone thinking about testosterone therapy? Our deep dive makes it pretty clear that optimizing testosterone isn't just about, cranking up the T level. It's about doing it safely, smartly,
Mm.
comprehensively.
That's the absolute key takeaway. This isn't just prescribing a hormone and calling it a day. At least it shouldn't be. A really effective modern approach uses advanced tools. We're talking detailed hormone testing, tracking symptoms really carefully, looking at metabolic panels. All of this helps build a custom plan that actually fits your body and your life, not just chasing a number on a lab report.
Precision and purpose, right?
Exactly, every step of the way.
And the sources mentioned a whole list of things that need careful monitoring along the way. It's not just checking the testosterone level itself, is it?
Oh, absolutely not. A good, safe protocol monitors a whole range of things, make sure everything's working well and staying safe.
Yeah.
Things like your red blood cell count. Often you'll hear HCT or HGB to make sure your blood doesn't get too thick.
Right, that's a known potential side effect.
It is. They'll also track your free testosterone. That's the amount actually available for your body to use. And SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, which affects that free level. Cholesterol levels are important to watch too.
And it goes beyond just the blood work, right, into how you feel.
Definitely. Monitoring includes tracking how you're doing subjectively. Your sleep quality, your stress levels, libido, mood. These are all crucial indicators of how well the therapy is working for you.
And I think the sources even mentioned looking at thyroid and adrenal function.
Yes, absolutely. Because hormones don't work in isolation. Your thyroid health, your adrenal function, they're all part of the same interconnected system. A truly comprehensive approach looks at that whole picture, understands the body's entire hormonal and metabolic ecosystem.
That commitment to tailoring with precision and purpose, that seems essential for doing this right.
It's vital. It ensures the therapy is not just effective in the short term, but also safe and sustainable for the long haul.
So if we had to boil down the ultimate message from our deep dive today, it seems crystal clear. Getting testosterone therapy right is deeply personal, it's complex, it's definitely not a generic one-size-fits-all deal.
That's it, exactly.
It's about really understanding the differences, the nuances between creams and injections, and seeing how that choice fits into a bigger personalized health strategy designed just for you.
And knowing these details, understanding the pros and cons, the monitoring involved, it really puts you in the driver's seat. It lets you have a much better, more informed conversation with your doctor. You can ask the right questions, understand why they're recommending something.
It demystifies the process a bit.
Yeah, it clarifies the choices and highlights just how thorough a good approach needs to be.
It really does, which kind of leaves me with a final thought. If this level of detailed, personalized analysis is so important for something like testosterone optimization, what other areas of our health could really benefit from that same kind of deep, tailored look? Going beyond just the obvious symptoms and considering our whole lifestyle, our unique biology.
That's a powerful question to ponder.
Something to think about until our next deep dive.